Chapter 13, Session 4. The Weight of Knowing. Ben's eyes fluttered open to the rhythmic, gentle beeping of a heart monitor. The ceiling was a familiar sterile white. He was back in the infirmary, but this time the frantic disorientation was gone. In its place was a profound, bone-deep calm. His mind, for the first time in his life, was quiet. The search was over. A new, more terrifying search was just beginning. A nurse entered, her smile warm. "Good morning, Dr. Carter. How are you feeling today?" "I'm feeling clear," Ben replied, his own voice sounding distant to him. "Thank you. May I be discharged?" he asked with a genuine politeness that was a universe away from the frantic energy of his last awakening. The doctor, after a brief checkup, agreed. "Someone is waiting for you in the command tent," he said with a knowing look. "But I strongly recommend a calming meditation at the end of your day. The neurological strain of these sessions is unprecedented." Ben simply nodded. He dressed slowly and walked out into the cool morning air. But he didn't head for the command tent. He couldn't. He walked in the opposite direction, toward the edge of the camp, until the sounds of the dig faded behind him. He looked up at the vast, indifferent desert sky and felt the full, crushing weight of his knowledge. He had not just witnessed history, he had felt the grief of a lost world, the sorrow of his own ancestors bringing about their doom. They weren't just data points, they were family. The utopia they built, the harmony they achieved, all of it was shattered by a choice: the choice to feel. For the first time, Ben Carter wasn't a scientist analyzing a discovery. He was a man mourning a tragedy 40,000 years old, and the burden of that memory felt infinite. He sank to his knees in the sand, the silence of the desert amplifying the scream inside his own mind. After a long moment, he took a deep, shuddering breath. The grief was real, but the mission was real too. He stood up, brushed the sand from his clothes, and a new, hard-won clarity settled over him. He now knew what he had to do. He turned and took a slow stroll past the temple dig site. He saw a newly unearthed lintel, covered in intricate carvings, the familiar symbols of pharaonic Egypt. Strange, he thought. The Giza I saw had no stories on its walls. It was a machine. These came later. They're not a history. They must be a memory of a memory. He heard a shout and looked up to see Inanna waving from the command tent. "Ben, so good to have you back." He entered the tent. Kaylin was there, her arms crossed, her face a mask of impatience. "I trust your sleep was a productive one, Doctor," she said, her tone sharp, "because I just got off a call with our employers. The Chinese consortium is no longer asking. They're delivering an ultimatum. They know we have something, and they will be here to assist in our research within the week. I need something tangible, something I can use." Ben looked at her, his expression calm, almost dreamy. "We are the fallen children," he said softly, "the ones who stayed behind." "What nonsense is this?" Kaylin snapped, her patience gone. "Stop with the poetic one-liners, Ben. I need details." Ben pulled himself up, his focus sharpening. "We came from another world. We built the pyramids, a global network to stabilize Earth's core. It was a utopia. And then a man named Moloch taught us the beauty of our own ego, and we brought it all crashing down. The builders, the scientists, they left in a great exodus. The ones who stayed behind, the rebels, that's us. We are their descendants. What? Kalen exclaimed, her composure finally cracking. You expect me to report that to the board? They'll have me committed. How are you seeing this? Is it a hallucination? Give me something scientific. There's still one piece of the puzzle missing, Ben said, his voice steady. I promise. Today will be the last session. After that, we will have the complete chronological data. Kalen stood, her face a mask of cold fury. Today is all you get, Ben. I need a full written report on my desk by tomorrow morning. Keats and I will deliver, Ben said, turning his attention to Inanna. Let's get to work. Keats, pull up the files on dynastic Egyptian symbology. Khufu's range. The screens around them flashed with images. What do they represent? Ben mused aloud, more to himself than to her. None of this was on the original structures. How did this complex language come to be? He looked directly at Inanna, a new fire in his eyes. That's the question, isn't it? How did pure science decay into this beautiful, elaborate dogma? He gestured to the screen, where the nuclear plant analogy was still displayed from his notes. The math was a prerequisite for the machine to function, but the descendants of the rebels were left with a machine they couldn't operate. So what did they do? Inanna's eyes widened as she followed his logic. They couldn't replicate the science, she whispered, so they started to worship the process. Exactly. They clung to the finger, forgetting all about the moon, Ben said. He grabbed her by the shoulder, his excitement palpable. I have to go back in. I have to see how it happened. Wait, Ben, Inanna said, grabbing his arm. Are you sure about going in right away? You just got back. All will be understood today, he said, his voice soft but resolute. Wait for my return. I promise. I won't faint this time. My consciousness is aligning with the new reality of things. He left them and headed for the underground ship's link pod. Ben is in the dark abyss once again. Sentinel? He called out softly. Yes, descendant. I have been waiting. Your mind is filled with a new, more focused question. Where will your consciousness take us today? Ben took a deep mental breath. He knew what he needed to see. I've seen the Golden Age, and I've seen the fall. Now, show me the long echo. Show me how the science died, and how the dogma was born. The long echo. Descendant, the sentinel's voice resonated. You asked to see how the science was lost. To understand the decay, you must first understand the exodus from their point of view. Let me set the stage. The void was torn open by a glow of light, revealing a new, unexpected vista. A majestic, artificial world ship hanging in the blackness of space. This is the mission guardian, the ark your people call Nibiru, the sentinel explained, its voice echoing with the weight of ages. After the Great Fracture, the Loyalists did not flee into the unknown. They evacuated here to their orbital home, leaving the rebels to their newfound chaotic freedom. The scene shifted back to Earth. Ben witnessed the last Loyalist ships ascending, joining the Ark in orbit. Below, the rebels erupted in celebration, dancing amidst the silent, dormant megaliths. They celebrated their freedom from an ordered reality, the Sentinel narrated, but their stolen tools would soon be rendered useless. They require a connection to me to maintain their power and function. They were now alone. The vision accelerated, a whirlwind tour through the centuries of decline. Ben saw a desperate man trying to work a lithozone, but its power cell was dead. He saw the last flicker of true science in a scene near ancient Baghdad, where descendants created crude chemical batteries in a futile attempt to power a forgotten machine. The machines died, one by one. Their focus shifted, the Sentinel explained, from the mission's grand objectives to the harsh realities of survival. The struggle for leadership, for food, for shelter. The mind, once aimed at the stars, was now fixed firmly in the dirt. The scene settled on an elder teaching a group of hungry children about the sky people. His words were lost on them. With a sigh of profound sorrow, he abandoned the lesson on cosmology and instead taught them how to plant corn. The great science became a bedtime story. The vision dissolved and reformed. Millennia had passed. Ben was now at Giza during the reign of the pharaohs. He saw the pyramid, weathered and ancient, its northern entrance sealed. He witnessed the great reenactment. He saw King Khufu's royal barge on the Nile, a ritualistic echo of the interstellar journey. He saw the procession up the long causeway, a memory of the voyage through the solar system. He saw the rites performed at the temples, the river temple representing the mother planet, the valley temple representing the Earthside command post. The Sentinel's narration was a somber guide through this beautiful, hollow ceremony. They are performing a memory whose meaning they have forgotten. The chants are an attempt to replicate the resonance of the machines. The rituals are an attempt to replicate the scientific procedure. Ben watched as Khufu's men, having broken a new entrance into the pyramid, prepared for the final rite. He saw the priests and the king enter. He asked a sentinel about the flail in Khufu's hand. A keen observation, the sentinel noted. It is a degraded symbol of the antimatter quarantine. A scientific tool for field purification has become a religious symbol to repel evil spirits. A means with no end. Ben then witnessed the stunning climax. The priests humming, amplified by the pyramid's chambers. The three granite blocks in the antechamber adjusted to tune the sound. Khufu, lying in the sarcophagus, achieving a state of resonance, a faint echo of the true enlightenment the apparatus once provided. He emerges, not a god, but a man whose mind has been temporarily cleared of its clutter, radiating a charisma and clarity that, to his people, is indistinguishable from divinity. They do not understand enlightenment, let alone its true purpose, the sentinel explained. Khufu believes his new clear sight is a godlike ability, a power to be wielded. He does not realize he has merely opened a door that his ancestors once walked through as a matter of course. The vision concluded with a montage of Khufu's reign. The explosion of art, the creation of the hieroglyphs, a beautiful, complex language built around scientific symbols whose original meaning was lost, and the solidifying of the myths of the underworld. Art adorning dead stones. Ben, adrift in the interface, was calm. His search was over. He understood. He had cracked the code. The headdresses, he thought, a final puzzle piece clicking into place. They're not crowns. They are artistic renderings of the bioenergetic fields the first settlers could actually measure. Correct. The Sentinel's voice was warm, almost proud. You are seeing without me showing. You have reached your own 0 point. The mission was to remember, and you, descendant, have remembered. The weight of that final statement, the implication of what it meant for him, was too much. The calm shattered. Fear, awe, and an immense sense of responsibility crashed over him. His heart began to go haywire. Ben lost consciousness before the sentinel could disconnect him. Keita's alarms blared through the command tent. Kalen and Inanna rushed to the link pod, finding Ben's body limp in the chair. Vitals are stable, but he's unconscious, Keats updated them. Inanna leaned in closer to Ben, her eyes filled with a mix of concern and gentle teasing. You promised you wouldn't faint, she whispered softly, her voice barely audible over the ambient noise. A sad smile tugged at the corners of her lips, reflecting her tender affection and underlying worry for him. Kalen placed a hand on her shoulder. Let him rest. We'll see him in the infirmary when he wakes. She looked from Ben's peaceful face to the humming machinery of the dig site, a new determination in her eyes. He had better have something worthwhile to share.